we go again.
Hey, it's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
What up, though?
Hey, man. Finally got my phone back, bro. Had my screen was all cracked, bro. I still don't know how it happened, bro. But yeah, finally got that thing fixed.
Look,
Nah, there's no way. Absolutely no way.
I
Mine
think maybe
didn't look that bad. Mine was it was so subtle that I thought I had some smudges on my phone. So I'm got the alcohol wipes trying to clean off my phone. I was like, what's this all? And then I just happened to look like I downloaded that spider web app, bro. I was like, nope, can't
did
do
you
it.
have to pay anything for them to fix it, even though you paid the monthly joint?
$29 was the deductible. And it would if I would have took it to a different place, they would have had it done in an hour. But it was the fact that I took it to a place that was closer to me, and it was like, man, we got 2 phones ahead of you. So they was like, that thing gonna be like 3.5 to 4 hours, bro.
It was through your so like I got Verizon. Yours was through T-Mobile, whoever you got.
Yep, it was through T-Mobile. And I just went online and went to my, because you got your phones or whatever, went to my phone and put in, there was like, whatever the little saying is for like technical help or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I filled out the little report. They made me pay the little $29. They said you'll get an email and set your appointment. And I did everything online right then and there. Boom.
Gotta do it. Mine been like this for probably about 6 months at least. I just haven't, it's so not like it doesn't prevent me from being on. I feel like an iPhone user. I ain't never seen an iPhone user with a clean screen. All they stuff cracked.
No, I get that, but it was one of those things for me. I'm very particular about stuff like that. Like it does bother me, especially because it's something I use all the time. So
you're paying for the service anyway.
Yes, that's what I had to get over, because I was trying to do it outright to not affect my insurance. But I'm thinking like, no, this is what I pay for the insurance for. And the fact, as soon as when I talked to the dude on the phone, he was like, he said, oh yeah, he said T-Mobile uses a Shurian or whatever. And he was like, your deductible's $29. I said, boy, say less. I went on there and did that ASAP, bro.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up doing that today, bro.
Yeah,
finally get mine fixed.
We got so much to talk about, so let's get to it.
Brotherz podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Brotherz podcast, the greatest podcast. If you smell what the. The Brotherz podcast. The greatest podcast of all time. The Brotherz podcast. The greatest podcast of all time.
Yep. Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Brotherz YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys and is doing their thing. Ace Kennedy. Hey, you said it. We got a laundry list.
Yeah.
Where you want to start?
Let's start with the playoffs. I know what we really want to get into, but let's get to the playoffs, because we had a couple of broomsticks, a couple of gentlemen's, and we still got some things going on. So let's kind of get into it with that.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I was telling somebody this today. There's a couple of series that I have not been watching, and I it's weird because I try my best to watch all of the playoff basketball, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw the game with Miami and the Celtics last night, and I was so bored with it. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And the part that was the frustrating thing to me is that this should be a sweep. Right. I know that Miami had one game where they made like 25 threes. They was going crazy or whatever. But it's just one of those things to me to where once I saw Jimmy, but for starters,
No Terry Rozier, no Jimmy Butler.
they get the sweep over with. And here's the other thing too. I tell people for a long time, I've been on the fence with Tyler Hero because to me, it's like I look at Tyler Hero and I think he give you good 6-man minutes, right? And I think that to me, he gives you points that I think if you get extra, they cool. But if you have to rely on him to get them points to win, right? Then I think that that's where you done. So once I saw that they had to rely on him,
yeah,
they was cooked. So I'm like, it's a foregone conclusion. Get it out my face. No interest in it whatsoever.
Well, it also gives you an idea. Like I get what you're saying, but you with the cards you dealt, you got to play them, right?
Facts.
So this is the opportunity for the Heat and the world to see what Tyler Hero is about, because every time there's a trade that comes up from Miami, the first name they talk about is Tyler Hero.
And I see why. I mean, I totally see why. Like when the Dame trade talks came out, he was one that was put out there. And like I said, I think that when I've watched him play, I've seen him do some really cool stuff, right? But it's like, man, yeah, you do it I haven't seen him do it when there was something big at stake, right? Like that's what I'm saying. And I saw today that Porzingis apparently is out for a couple of games. Right?
Yeah.
So now, listen, I think that what's odd about it to me as well, right, is that when I did see I saw the part of the game last night, and I just so happened to watch the game that Miami scored all those threes in, right? And one of the things that I noticed, and I was trying to tell somebody this before, is that they go run their points through if I'm the other team. While Porzingis is your shot blocking, I'm taking him out of the paint. So when they knocked down all threes, a lot of it, not that it was all on him, but it was on a lot of sets where they took Porzingis away from the paint. So it's like he isn't going to gun, but so far out. So it was like a lot of open shots. But now that he's out of there for a few games, I think that they're going to try to hurry up and get this one on over with. But I think that they would be playing against, I think, the winner of the Knicks. The winner of the Knicks in Philly. And listen, I'm going to keep it a stack with you, though, bro. I think if Joel Embiid is 80%, I think he's going to get them fits, though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you and I have already kind of said this, where it's like Joel Embiid, if he's, regardless of that he's not healthy, it's not like Kawhi, right? Where Kawhi not being healthy, it shows. You know what I'm saying? Where and he's a hindrance to the Clippers, and we'll get to that later. But Joel Embiid, if they don't have him on the floor, there's no chance for Philly.
Facts.
So you got to take a hobbled. You got to take a hobbled Embiid, and Embiid's got to play almost every minute of the game.
But it looks like that's going to be. But it looks like New York's going to win that series, though, right? And then here's the concern. So I think New York is a more favorable matchup because I think that Boston is just bigger, right? I think that they have the guys. Like I think that Jalen Brunson can get buckets, but I feel okay if you tell me that if you're the Celtics and I put Drew Holiday on Jalen Brunson, and if Jalen Brunson scores 30 points on us, 40 points on us, well, you score 30, 40 points on my best guy, right? So there's nothing that I can say about that, right? But at the same time, they also got Derek White. They got guys that they can put on that can try to contain Jalen Brunson because, I mean, in essence, he's all they got. It's him or nothing. So from that regards, though, bro, I think that if I'm Boston, I want to see New York only because I don't have an answer for Joel Embiid. But I think I do have an answer for Jalen Brunson. You can kind of get him by committee, though, bro. So from that regards, so man, I think that they'll win that one pretty soundly. I would say that I would pick the Celtics in 6 against the Knicks. And to be honest with you, though, man, like from watching the Eastern Conference mainly, I don't really see any team out there that would push Boston to game 7.
Right.
Maybe the Cavs. Maybe the Cavs can.
That's another series that I'm so not interested in.
Yeah, me too.
The Cavs and the Magic. Like
Yeah.
I have only watched a little bit of the game only because it was the game before the game I wanted to see, not because I was actively watching the game.
No, I think that one of the things that I wanted to see how Paolo would play with the lights on, and he's pretty good. Like, I think he the real thing, though, bro. I honestly believe I didn't. It's always funny because a lot of these new Duke players, the one and dones, right? Some of them dudes, I don't really see all of this in their college game, and the ones that do, that you typically see them really excel, it feels like most of them, like that's their max, right? Or whatever you go get from them. Like a perfect example is like Grayson Allen, right? JJ Redick, Shane Battier. Like they were really good college players. They put up a lot of college numbers, but in terms of the spectacular athleticism, like they were shooters, right? They were shooters then. They got to the league. They continue to be shooters or whatever, though, man. But in terms of like the athletic next level, I've never seen until recently. I didn't think Jason Tatum. I didn't see him coming. Right. I didn't see Ingram coming. So with Paolo, I kind of saw that he was going to be that. My concern was he going to be like Jelani McCoy and some of these other guys when they cap out, because I saw him coming. But I'm going to be honest, I saw a glimpse of him coming, but I didn't know he was going to be this good, though, bro. And so, I mean, I'm going to be honest, too. I'm not as interested in the series. I'm only watching it because I want to see what Donovan Mitchell does. But I think that they got the guys, though, to run with Boston, though. It's the only threat. But I think even then it makes me question if that's enough to push them to 7 games.
Is there anybody in the East, do you think, that has something for Boston, or is it a foregone conclusion? This is it.
Listen, if Giannis is not playing, then that's it. I think that the Bucks were the only team. And with Dame and Giannis now out, it's a wrap. It's the easiest walkthrough I think they've had in some years for the Celtics, though, bro.
But here's the crazy thing. I don't even think with Giannis and Dame that the Bucks was not it this year, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I see Dame leaving the Bucks because he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit. Like he wasn't himself. We didn't get Dame time until Giannis was out.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. Is it that he doesn't fit because it feels like he doesn't want to be there?
I mean, he said it himself, right? He said, look, this wasn't my first choice. So I have to believe that. You know what I'm saying? So
is he playing like it, though? Does he play like, I really don't?
He's not playing like he don't want to be there. He's playing like he doesn't fit. Like he doesn't know when to take his shots. He's playing like he doesn't know when to do. Like that's where to me, the way he plays is like he doesn't fit. Like he doesn't know when to take over the game. Because I mean, if you're honest, right? Giannis is always going to take over the game. Giannis feels like it's my responsibility at all phases of the game. It's my responsibility. So when you look at that, then it's like, what is he really supposed to do? Because he's clogging up the space. Like Giannis will just do whatever he can at whatever. And that's what I mean. Like he just looks like he doesn't fit. Like he doesn't know when to take over.
I think so. This is where I agree with you in this regards. I think that, to me, game going to Giannis is still the best player. So that's what Giannis is supposed to do, right? I think that what Dame has to do is be on a team where he's the best player. And so the Miami would have made more sense, right? Because then I laugh, man. My homeboy Rashad, we always are laughing because he's a big Miami fan, and I've been telling people for a long time that Jimmy Butler is a number 2 player, not number 1, right? And so I think that him going to, if he would have went to Miami, I think that would have made Jimmy your number 2 player clear. Dame goes there and be who Dame is. And I think that makes Bam your number 3 best player. You go ahead and you would have gotten rid of Tyler. If you could have gotten rid of Duncan Robinson, that would have been helpful. But if you get him, listen, I think all you have to do is get rid of Tyler Hero, and that would have made it work, right? But if you kept Duncan Robinson, I think that would have certainly he would give you what Tyler Hero's giving you anyway, though. But I think it probably doesn't fit because Dame's not the number 1 guy. He's the number 2 guy.
Yeah, and that's why it does not work, bro. It
don't.
It doesn't, and it looks like it. Every bit of it looks like it. Like Dame not Dame, but Giannis needs a point guard that is just gonna be a distributor. You know what I'm saying? Because it also clogs it up for Chris Middleton. Like again, Chris Middleton hit like 40 or whatever you want to call it when Giannis wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it's just like he ain't able, like with them 3, that's why Drew Holiday was such a great fit because he didn't need the ball like that.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't see anybody in the East standing in Boston's way. I think if anything, Dame and Giannis being out just made it more of a cakewalk. Now on the West, I think that it's interesting because I listen, bro. I think I told you this off cam, bro, but the Mavs and the Clippers is the most frustrating matchup to watch, though, bro. And part of the reason why I think that it's frustrating is because I've never seen so many great players on the court at one time just get in each other's way, though, bro. Like, can't quite figure out. Like, this is the way I look at it. I don't know that the Kyrie and Luka will work, right?
I definitely don't think so. Kyrie,
I don't think it'll work long term anyway. But let's just say for the constraints of this postseason, it's not gonna it's not enough to beat the Nuggets. But I think
it might not be enough to beat the Clippers.
Yes, but see, here's where I'm going with that, right? When I say the Nuggets, so what I'm saying about that is I think that the guard play, guard play wise, because see the Nuggets, they basically put Aaron Gordon on anybody, right? And I think Aaron Gordon can guard Luka, and I'm not gonna say he's gonna shut him down. I don't think that Luka can guard anybody, which is why I knew Kawhi was still hurt, bro. Because I saw Luka sitting in that seat on Kawhi. Kawhi could not get around Luka.
Everybody was ripping.
Yes, and if
Kawhi.
you can't get around Luka, who really doesn't want to play defense, though, bro, tells me everything. But with that being said, you would like to think that if the Clippers, they're still trying to figure it out, that the Mavs should just run away with it. Well, they're not. So it's like,
No. They did figure it out, which is why Kawhi will be sitting out this game. Kawhi was the reason they lost those 2 games. Had Kawhi just not played, it would have been a sweep because playoff P and Harden together actually look good together. Them 2. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, when Kawhi is on the floor, he clogs it up for them. And then you're trying to go through him because that's their prime. He's the number 1. And so they were deferring to him. And then he's not 100%. So he can't move around and do everything he needs to do. He's getting ripped. He ain't playing good defense. You see these spurts of him. Like when he dunked, it looked the most uncomfortable thing ever. Like he was hobbling when he got down just from dunking. So the fact that they removed him, that made it, Kyrie even said it. Like, look, they play more free when Kawhi is not on the floor. And so Harden was able to do his thing, playoff P was able to do his thing, and everybody was doing their thing.
Okay, listen, this is why I think that it's frustrating. What I'm watching to see that if this goes to game 6, I'm watching to see what James Harden's going to do.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm only going off. I understand his pass is never gonna fleet him, right?
He's on. I'm watching him. I can't help it.
But what he's presenting is working.
Oh yeah, listen. Don't get me wrong, right? Because they were down, so now he's playing with house money. There's not as much pressure on him to come through, but it's gonna come. And so I'm curious to see with no Kawhi Leonard out there. And now you got the opportunity for you to go ahead and start to make amends for all them flops. I'm watching, and that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I think the Clippers roster is good enough to beat the Mavs. I don't even think that this should even be like, yeah, it should be close. I don't feel confident picking either team, but I definitely don't feel confident with picking either team to even beat the next round. Right, I don't see it like that though. No, they not.
Next round they playing OKC, so I definitely don't see.
I don't listen, man. OKC got them young dogs out there, and listen, here we're gonna talk about this, and this is a question I got for you.
I got a question for you too. I got a question for you too.
Okay, but listen. So my question is go twofold. Okay,
go ahead.
We go, but a segue into that because KD them got swept the other day.
That's right.
Right? They got the broom. They got the Swiffer. They got every kind of broom you could think of. The vacuum cleaner. They got everything. Ace Kid, you know me, bro. I'm big on legacy. I'm big on list. What does this do to KD's legacy, bro? What does this do to his spot on the list?
Nothing. It doesn't do anything because according to Charles Venus logic, all the smoke should be going towards Booker because that's his team. According to Charles Venus logic, the
Book
thing
still
is
has
this,
time. Book still has time, but the clock is on him and having them ugly shoes.
Well, the thing is this though, it's his team. He done now played with how many Hall of Famers? And
I'm not looking at him yet like he's the young James Harden.
Right.
Yeah.
The point is, according to the Charles Venus logic, that's his team.
That's his team.
He ain't get him over the hump.
He ain't get him over the hump.
He had Bill's help. Now, mind you, that's why I can't just put this on KD and say it's his legacy, because this is the same problem he had at Brooklyn is what he had with the Suns, meaning that they tried to put together this super team and they rarely got to play together. And now, should they have at least won one game? Absolutely. And does some of it go on coaching because of the style of play that they were playing? Absolutely. Do them not having a true point guard hurt them? Absolutely. So for me, it doesn't affect KD's legacy because of the fact that, you know what I'm saying, I am basing this information off of what was presented. And my thing is them firing Monty was the first mistake because they tried to they needed an scapegoat and they used Monty and they saw quickly that wasn't the coaching wasn't the issue. You know what I'm saying? This team as presently constructed is not going to move the needle. Like they barely did it in the regular season. What made us think that was going to just magically change?
They didn't play all together in the regular season. That was one of them.
Right, but they didn't play well. Even what I'm saying is we saw these rare, and I'm talking rare flashes.
Who's the odd man out of that three?
Bradley Beal. Yeah, Bradley, you know, you and I had a conversation off camera, and I said that boy was a shell of himself because I'm saying I heard somebody say, bro, said, hey, They brought Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards, and he still thought he was a Washington Wizard. The way he was out there playing, they said that boy, bro. Listen, I'm not hating on Bradley Beal. I wish this dude would get healthy and get back to putting up 30-point games. At least give me 25, 28. Give me 20 points. You know what I'm saying? But he just wasn't consistent in doing that. We saw when Booker and KD was on, but Bradley Beal was just never on. Like, I seen him sitting on the sideline rooting him on with a towel, like he was Melo from the OKC, bro.
Listen, bro. Let me tell you this though, man. I'm gonna tell you what this did. It almost makes me question Brad Beal's 30 points. Like all those years, it almost makes me think, bro, you was doing a Kevin Love with the Timberwolves. Kevin Love and the Timberwolves was averaging like 28 and 15 boards, right? And I think he could have done that for the rest of his career, and then he had to change his role. But it made me look at him like them numbers was a little bit inflated because you never had the stakes were never high for him. But here's the thing: I think that this is the thing it did for me for KD getting swept. He running out of time. So if you're not going to do it with that roster, I don't know what roster I'm sure you can put KD on any team and they should almost always be favored to win. Because I think that KD is like a numbers mercenary, very different from what I think LeBron James, right? I think LeBron James rolling out of bed. If you told me that the Lakers are playing and I can blindly, you ain't got to tell me who they playing.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume to you that LeBron James, with my eyes closed, is going to give you at least 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists at a bare minimum, because those are LeBron James's numbers. Well, I think that with KD's numbers are going to be 28 points on 15 shots, and he'll do that on any team. I think that where it comes into play is that I think that KD just needs to have someone who is a clear number one. And I think that it's Booker's team, but nobody ever thought that Book was better than KD.
No, they didn't. It immediately became KD's team. Like
he
got all the smoke. I don't ever remember anybody saying Booker this, Booker. It's KD. Everything.
Yes, and that's where. So because of that, right? Because it was Book's team, but it was almost by default passed over to KD. Here's what it did to me for his legacy. To me, it made KD a notch above all the great players who didn't win a championship. So when you put together the GOAT list, right, and you say, oh, you got Charles Barkley, and you got Reggie Miller, and you got Patrick Ewing, and you got all these great players who never won a ring, to me, it solidifies KD's spot above those guys, right? Just above those guys, though. But what it doesn't do is that it doesn't put him above Steph to me, right? And there was always the conversation, like of the guys of this era, the LeBrons, the Kawhis. He's like, to me, it's LeBron, Steph, maybe somewhere KD. I mean, not KD and Kawhi between those two. But I think some people might even put Kawhi above KD, and I would understand if they did. And if you were putting together an all-time GOAT list, would you have KD above Kawhi?
I couldn't because of the rings. Because Kawhi
got his rings.
He do, and he went to those teams and got them. It wasn't like he joined some team and then like when he left the Raptors weren't the same. You know what I'm saying?
So but you wouldn't have Kawhi over KD.
Yes.
You do have him over KD.
Yes.
Okay.
Because of the rings. That's what I said.
but so for me, that's what this season did. It solidified that for me. Before, that was always the toss-up. Like I thought the comp for KD What's Kawhi? Like, I never thought, for me, right? I never thought when people would say, oh, that there was like a season of maybe like 2 years, 3 years where people were saying Kawhi the best player in the league, and I never thought so. And then people said the same thing about KD, and I never thought so. I never thought they were better than LeBron. I think the only person who I thought had a stretch where they could have been was Steph. But with that being said, I think that what this season does, because I think that the window is closing on KD just as fast as it's closing on LeBron. And for that matter, it's closing on Kawhi, it's closing on Steph.
I don't think it's close. I think it's more open for KD than it is LeBron. I think there's a couple of teams out there still that can benefit and easily make them more contender.
Okay, here's what I mean. Here's why I can agree with you. If you put KD on the Knicks, I would pick the Knicks to beat everybody on Boston. I to beat Boston at the same roster. You put KD on there, then I would fall for it, right? But I think in the end, I think that what it does to me, though, man, is that with the window closing, I don't know that they're going to beat. I think that it's going. I don't think. But this, I don't think that KD's going to win a ring for the rest of his time in the league. So because his window is that small to me, I think that it just puts him right below KD. I mean, it puts him in that conversation of who do you got higher, Kawhi or him? But it's above all of the other greats who were great that never won a ring that people always bring up. He's above those guys. So it's almost like he's the gatekeeper to me of the rings, of the balance of ring culture and on the GOAT list. He's the doorman.
Well, a couple of obviously the biggest rumor that's floating out there is that KD wants to go back to OKC. And obviously we have the assets to be able to do something for Philly. I mean for the Suns. Honestly though, I don't know that OKC would do that just because I think they believe in their young core. Like I think if they're gonna add anything, they're gonna be some pieces. But they're not gonna there's no way if they was like, yeah, we want J Dub, we want Giddy. We like there's just
okay. If I can get KD for Giddy, some of them future draft picks that we didn't have, right? And then you say, you get some of the other, you get the other J Will. I think I would get KD. And let me tell you the reason why. Because I think that KD and the way KD is so efficient, it doesn't have to have the ball. I think that you can put KD on OKC's team and nobody's going to miss a beat. I don't think that it's going to reduce Shea. I don't think it's going to reduce. The only thing is you might have to give up like Lou Dort. But I think that that's what I think is the beauty about KD is he allows everybody to be them.
The only way I would do KD to the Thunder is if it was Giddy and Luau Ding and some draft picks. Get Luau Ding. Like if it was Giddy, Luau Ding, Lenny Waters III, and some draft picks. It can't be people like it can't be J Dub, it can't be J Will, it can't be Wiggins. It can't be.
I'd get rid of Wiggins, man. I'd get rid of to get KD. But then here's the thing about it, though, right? Because to me, when you do that, I think that means that while I know that you have the timeline that they're trying to stay true to, I think that makes you even more in the now. Like it's truly win right now.
See, that's the thing, though. Like I see. That's the difference between you and I and a bunch of pundits, right? Because which goes into my question that I want to ask you. The pundits all think we're some years away, as though we haven't been in a rebuild already. Also, The Thunder are a few pieces away and not necessarily a person away. The thing is, what I love that what the Thunder have done, what Sam Presti has done, is that he's not setting us up for success for just the now. He's also setting us for success in the future and beyond for the Thunder. Because if you look at the tenure of Sam Presti and everybody that has touched the Oklahoma City Thunder, due to him bringing them there, he knows what he's doing. A lot of these people that have come through OKC's tree, people didn't know that they were going to be that great. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing is, he has his finger on the pulse on being able to, because it's not just about what people are doing in OKC, it's the personnel and the personalities that match. And my question to you, talked about Ant-Man, talked about Shea and the Thunder and how young they are. We talked about Paolo. Is the stigma of the young man, is that still true when all the old guys is out? LeBron's out, Steph is out,
No, it's still the
KD is
same.
out.
It's still the same.
Who else is left?
Well, you still got Yoke. Yoke is still the old man. Listen. Here's where I'm going with that. Here's what I'm going with, because Shea is a young OG. Shea been around for a long time.
Yes, his 6th year in the league.
Yes, Shea is 6 year. But then you also think Jamal Murray is somewhere around 6 year, maybe 7 year. Yoke is also somewhere around 6 year, 7 year. Aaron Gordon is also around it. So I think that I think that it's not so much as it's an old man's game. I think that
Charles, you're talking about one team. I'm talking about what I'm talking about is all these pundits is talking about this experience. Boston, yes, they've been around for a minute, but Milwaukee on their way out of here. Who they losing to? A young Pacers team.
Yeah,
okay?
I get that. I don't disagree with you. I see what you're saying, but my answer to that would be that so Yoke is 29, right? Giannis is just 30, so he's still in his prime. Yoke is in his prime.
No. Listen.
No. Listen.
I'm not talking about age. I'm talking the two things that they talk about is experience and age, right?
Yes.
What I'm saying is the Boston team and the Denver team, they have the experience. You already said the ages of them.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is all the experience is on their way out.
See,
Philly
on their way out. I think that part of that, so you know what it is? I think that part of this is where you can see where the guys that were being drafted as 18 and 19-year-olds, how fast forward now that experience that they got early on, it's paying off. So I think that, so I look at it like this. I think that it's different when you think of, when people say, oh, you're inexperienced. Inexperience to me means that you got some guys who's like a new jack, and you got they've been in the league for 4 years, right? They haven't even finished their rookie contract, and their team just so happens to be in the playoffs, right? And I think that what happens is that you get out OG, you get out experience, right? And I think that what ends up happening is that you still are trying to figure out how not just the coaching aspect of it to make adjustments, but as a player, you also got to make the adjustments. I think that Boston was lucky enough to get their young guys on championship run quality teams early on, and everybody else has. I think that Boston, to me, is the outlier from everybody else. I think that, and it's a lot of luck. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of luck that you would like to hope that those guys who you draft turn into be and have all the potential that you expect for them, that you drafted them for. But I think that it is something, don't get me, I do think that it is a pivot in the league, right? Where it is this changing of the guards. It's a big changing of the guards, because you think about it though, bro, we're probably 3 years removed, at least 3 years removed from when you'll have a league that no longer includes Steph, that no longer includes probably LeBron, KD, Kawhi, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, all of those guys who were perennial all-stars and all NBA, they're going to be gone. And so I do think that there is a changing of the guards. I think that one of the things that where that's showing up though is that I think that to me, I'm still one of those guys that would put my money on the experienced team. Well, these days, the experienced teams are twofold, right? The experienced teams have been homegrown teams, but then also they are typically teams where they've drafted guys really young, and it's taken them some time to get those lumps, right? I mean, Boston's been losing at a high on a high platform, on a high stage. And so you would think, all right, they got it has to be now or never. Like at some point, taking those lumps got to count for something. So I think that it's just all of that time. Now the young guys are more experienced, but I think that it's no different from when Jordan came, right? When Jordan won their first championship, it was when the bad boys was old, Bird was old, Magic Johnson was old, Kareem had just retired. It was a lot of those. It certainly is a change of guards. So then it's like the youth becomes the more experienced as those guys go. So I agree with you. Yeah. I think I just agree with you for a different outlook. That's all.
Well, like I said, if you look at most of the teams that are left, is the inexperience, because the Timberwolves ain't been there like that. Pacers ain't been there like that since PG was cold. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the one thing that I can say though, right? For the most part, most of the teams that are out there that you say these are the contenders, these are the ones that we honestly would pick to win a championship. Most of them are homegrown. That the core of their team are homegrown players that they may have added some pieces to.
I understand that, but I'm not talking about the homegrownness. I'm talking about the thing that the pundits are throwing out. Because the Thunder are the second youngest team in the league, but they're the youngest team to ever make first whatever. But I'm saying they're young and inexperienced, right? Most of the teams that are right now doing it are inexperienced teams. Like you said, OKC homegrown, Minnesota homegrown, Boston,
right?
Homegrown.
But then guess what though? Of the teams that are the young teams, the ones that are favored are the more experienced team. It's why the Celtics would be picked. It's why the Nuggets would be favored.
Are an older team now, even though they're not
Celtics, that much. They're but this. I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but the core of the Celtics team is in their mid-20s, right?
The have been in the playoffs before.
Right.
So they have the experience. When I say older team, Denver and Boston and the Heat are the three battle-tested teams who have been there doing that before. The rest of the teams haven't been in the playoffs like that. That's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, though. But I guess what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is this. I agree with everything that you're saying. But what I'm saying is that the pundits aren't wrong when they typically point toward the experienced team still being favored, right? Because even though everybody, these are, hey, we don't know what we're doing here. We just out here trying to whoop up everybody. In the end, you're going to be more inclined to pick the team that is the more experienced because they've been there.
We're saying the same thing, but you're just missing one part of what I'm saying.
I'm not missing that.
I understand that Boston and Denver should be the favorite teams because, for one, Denver's the defending champions. Boston, out of the East, has the most experience and has been there or been sniffing around there the most. The Heat, they're down stars, and they're starting from the bottom trying to get up to the top. But the rest of the teams are young squads. New York.
I got a perfect example for you. Okay. I got a perfect example for you. So when Ja Morant comes back, right? I think that the Nuggets are. I think that the Grizzlies are going to be a top 3 team in the West, right? And when the playoffs come, they're going to be one of those teams that will be favored. And the reason for that is they got a very young team, but they were battle tested early on. So while age-wise and by amount of experience in the NBA, they may be comparable to a lot of the young guys, right? They may even be less experienced in seasons than Shea, but the entirety of their NBA life, they've been outside of that first Ja Morant season. They've been battle tested in playoffs. And so while they're a young core, the nucleus is young. Their experience, that experience that they have, would make them favored. It wouldn't surprise me, bro, that if Oklahoma was number 1 seed again in Vegas, if they had to face the Grizzlies, people favored heavily. Well, by then Oklahoma would be more experienced. But I'm saying the Grizzlies, they have a very young nucleus, and I think that's different.
Right.
They're young guys.
What I'm saying is, in the playoffs currently, as it sits, most of the teams that are still playing, are younger teams. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying I think that it's cool and refreshing. But in the end, it won't mean nothing until it means something. Right? So it won't mean nothing
Who do you have in the Denver and Minnesota series?
I got Denver. I got Denver.
And say I have Minnesota.
Okay.
And I understand that Denver has the experience and they know how to get it done because they're the champs. But I just don't think they have nothing for Minnesota.
Okay, so maybe that's why we look at the two teams differently, right? So like even then, right? Okay, so all the young teams. So you think any of those young teams are going to beat the Celtics?
No, but the difference is the Celtics, to me, have the experience, they have the youth, but they also just have a powerful team. Like what I'm saying is, so I'm looking at, even though folks be like, well, the regular season, just the regular season, it still has some weight to me because it's like, if I beat you 3 out of the 4 times we played this year, you obviously didn't figure something out.
If I beat you 11 times in a row,
well, that's different. But we ain't talking about that. I'm talking about direct, because they beat Denver beat LA all season too.
Right.
So, and so that worked. So what I'm saying is Boston, though, has beaten all of these teams throughout the year. And so my thing is, I expect them to continue to win. I don't think that the team in 7 games is going to figure out what to do for Boston. Like the one blemish that they got when they lost to the Heat was that blemish.
Here's what I do think. I think I'm so looking forward though to the Nuggets Timberwolves matchup, because I think that's going to be probably some good basketball, entertaining basketball, bro. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, because Jamal Murray can't have them slump games against Minnesota. Because
all it's going to take, if you're telling me that all rosters equal, I just think the Nuggets got a better roster. And Ant-Man is the best player. To me, would be, you could say Ant-Man or Yoke would be the best player. I just think that overall the Nuggets has got a better roster. And I just think that overall
they may have a better roster, but I'm just telling you. If Jamal Murray keeps if he keeps having these games in the playoffs where he's struggling, that is going to open the door for Minnesota. If Cat can stay out of foul trouble, that's going to be problems for Denver. That's what I'm saying.
I don't disagree with nothing you said. The logic. I'm not saying it at all. I just think that I don't know, man. I'm always. I think that there's always going to be a time where the new Jacks are the new guys on the blocks, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? But until then, I'm inclined to go with the team that has the more experience, though, bro.
Look, man, we didn't talk enough playoffs, bro. Let's get into it. Let's get into this euphoria.
Hey, listen. Okay, so let me ask you this. First off, what is your initial impressions of it?
So I've only heard it once, and it was just through the phone speaker. So I didn't have the headphones. It wasn't in the car. Like I don't got the full effect. I heard it once, but I was impressed right off the bat because he, to me, did what you wanted. Like he cut through all of the political stuff, all of the you talking numbers and contracts, and I'm talking this, and this. And I mean, just some of the bars. I sent you all of his bars. Lord. It's a lot too. I like how it came on.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, the slow and then went into the fast. I don't know who produced it. Who produced it?
I don't remember who produced. I don't know who produced it. But listen, he said, what I love the most. He said, I'm just out here raising my son. You don't know about that. I said, hey, yo, it was cold, bro. I said, yo, listen, as a Kendrick fan, he gave me exactly what because at first I was like, all right, when that intro came on, though, man, I thought he was going. He was just going. I was like, don't go soft on me. I don't want the philosophical. Nah, don't go there because he was still going, and I'm riding with him. And then when it turned up, and as he went, he kept going, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up. Absolutely loved it, though, man. And listen, here's what's crazy, though. As good as it is, I think it's a tie. It's equal. I thought Drake's was just as good.
Yeah,
and
I don't think Kendrick washed him. I think it's a good intro for both because, like some of the lines, he said, "I make music to electrify him. You make music to pacify him." Or he said, "Don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell the truths about you." I was just like, "Oh my God, bro."
Yeah, he said everybody want to be everybody want to be demons till they get chipped away by your throwaway. I thought that was fire though, bro. I think he said when you say when I'm killing you with my throwaway raps, that's next play. That is next. I thought, bro.
Did he say something in there about you sent me a cease and desist for like that?
Yes. Yeah. I thought that listen, he said, dog. So he said the line that I thought killed it was the most is when he said, I don't want to talk about sellers. You know, I got a language barrier. It's no accent. You can sell me. Yeah, Cole. He said, yeah, Cole and Cole and Aubrey. No, I'm selfish. The crown is heavy. He said, I pray for my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. I'll say, oh. And that to me is what I was like, but I'm trying not to let my bias completely just take my perspective on the overall. I think this one was splitting hairs. If someone thought that they just liked Drake's better, I get it. For me, I slightly edges, and I'm a bit of a prisoner of the moment because this is my guy, one, and it's fresh, two. But I do respect how great Drake's was because Drake did exactly what I thought Drake would do. Well, Kendrick did exactly what Kendrick was supposed to do. So now I'm waiting for the Drake response to this.
Yeah, because he supposedly, like we said in his rap, he said he got another one. I'm ready to hear it. Like he should have dropped it today.
Listen, but if I'm Drake, right? I think this isn't enough for me to be like, oh, I don't got this. Like it's. I think Drake probably think this isn't anything that I can't top, right? 100%. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if I'm Drake, I'm definitely responding back to it, and so I think that it's good, bro. I'm talking about it was really good though, bro. But I think that this was one that Drake, if I'm Drake, and if I'm Drake's team, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, he had some dope stuff. But it was just a little chink in the armor though, bro. Ain't nothing that I can't bounce back from.
Bro, I'm just looking at these bars, and it's crazy. He said, it's always been about love and hate. Now let me say that I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. I hate the way you sneak this. If I catch a flight, it's gonna be direct. But it it's crazy.
He said, I know some ish about ninjas that make Gunna want to look like a saint. And I thought that was fire. He said, I hate the broads you cut because they confuse themselves with real women. I thought that was fire though, bro.
When he said, when I see you with sexy red, it look like two bad.
Oh my, yeah. It's fire though, bro. You go, oh my gosh. He said, I don't like, he said, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. I thought that was fire, bro.
He said, I like back to back.
Yes, bro. He said, let your core audience stomach that. Then tell them where you get your abs from. I said, yo, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's fire, bro. I've listened to it probably like 10 times though, man.
Yeah, see, I haven't got to listen to it like that.
Oh man, bro. It is yeah. He said, I got a son, Ray. He said, I got a son. What he said? He said, yeah, he said, I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. Waking him up, he said, waking him up, knowing nothing about that. He said, waking him up, you don't know nothing about that, and tell him to pray, you don't know nothing about that. It's cold. It's just like that. Probably I said, yo, let's go, boy. I was hyped. It totally made my day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. He said, am I battling Ghost or AI? Ninja feeling like Joel Osteen. Funny because he was in the film called AI. I was like, yo, let's go, boy.
What he said, bring out your righties. Is talking about like I'll battle all 20 of them.
Yeah, he said, yeah, you talking about 20. He talking about you versus 20. You talking about this 20 versus 1. He said, I'm fighting. He said, bring out all your relatives, boy, like me versus all of them. That's what I'm talking about, boy. It's cold, man. He cold, bro. Yeah, man. I said, yo, he cold, man. He cold, man. He cold.
So you got it tied right now?
I got it tied. Only because I don't want to be completely biased. I want to say, listen, I want to say that I like this one better, but I still like the Metro Shut Your Tail Up and Make Some Drums. That still is fire. And so I think Drake has some moments, right? The rapping is what I like better.
Yeah, it's almost like how we talked about Chris Brown and Quavo, right? Well, we said Chris Brown was snapping, right? But Quavo had the bop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like Drake, he had some lines in there, but it was very much the theatrical presentation. Whereas Kendrick wasn't about no theatrics, it was all bars. It was just like it was just the cuts. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there's, like you said, it's no edge, it's preference. Because it's like if you really, really like bars, you gave the nod to Drake, but you really like what Kendrick had to say. But if you like me who like the whole package, then I'm sure you like Drake. You know what I'm saying?
See, I don't think Kendrick is gonna do any of the other stuff. Kendrick might not even do an IG post about it. He ain't gonna post no stories. I don't think that's how he roll though, bro. But listen, man. I personally think I like it better, man.
And see, this is exactly what I meant by Kendrick wasn't on the clock, because all he had to do was drop something, and now he back in good graces.
He couldn't have waited that much longer, though, bro. He timed it right.
He could have waited another week. This was still what I'm saying is it would have had the same effect. It's not like this would have changed anything if we got it a week later, because people were already like, I had heard a lot of people just be like, he ain't even gonna respond.
He said, ain't 20v1, it's 1v20. If I gotta smack this right with you. Let's go, man. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Guys, it's dog. I can see Landon saying no, he think Drake smoked him. Right. But then it's just like, yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm gonna put this back on replay for a couple more times this week, though, bro.
What you got up for the weekend and for the week?
Man, so this weekend, man, I'm back. I'm back in the lab, man. I'm finishing out some beats that I had to sit down, And they actually passed the overnight test too, though, man. So I was glad that, though, man. So that's it, though, man. Back into that. I'm hoping to finish with a couple of songs that I started too, though, man. What's good with you, though?
Yeah. I didn't failed to mention. So this weekend I had a show I was telling everybody about. Ended up being a competition, which shout out to Soul Snatchers for putting on the event April Showers 2024. I had been a part of the April Shower series before because it was an all R&B show, something that I love doing in Oklahoma City because it's like typically I'm a part of rap shows and then I'm singing at these rap shows. But it ended up, being 4 different artists, and your boy took first place. It was real dope experience to and the judges. It was cool for a couple of reasons though, because it was like I'm competing against some younger kids, you know what I'm saying? And I say kids, they grown men, but I'm saying when you talking age, I know I had at least 10, 15 years over these cats, you know what I'm saying? So they doing the new school R&B stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like one dude's mama was out there, you know what I'm saying? So that's that's what I mean by younger kids. So to be competing against them and understanding certain things about performance, because I got some great feedback from the judges, like stuff that I knew about, but the fact that somebody else recognized it, it was like, okay, yeah, I definitely got to change that up. So it was cool to be this old and still accepting constructive criticism from some people that I actually trust to deliver that, because so one of the judges, he performs all the time and he's worked on his craft. Like his main thing is performance, right? Whereas us, most of us are more studio artists. We don't get that opportunity to perform like that. I perform probably 3-4 times a year, where this guy performs 3-4 times a week. You know what I'm saying? And so the stuff that he said really made sense on some aspects of, I do want to step my performance up. Like there's still room for improvement. So to get that kind of critique and feedback was dope. But at the same time, it was still cool to get the acknowledgement of the experience that I do have and still,
Yeah.
winning the competition. So it was dope all the way around.
It's dope. That's dope.
Look, bro, them playoff series is starting back up. So we need to get on it. Let's get on out of here.
Let's do it.
Doesn't matter what your name is. Slash Brotherz Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brotherz Podcast, the greatest podcast. Can you dig it, sucker?